early tomorrow, like at the crack of dawn, I am flying to Chicago to go see Hamilton. And it is before the crack of dawn on Saturday, April 15th. I am awake. I'm just gonna go out and check the tire pressure in my cars and then drive myself to the airport because I am flying to Chicago to see Hamilton tonight. I am so excited. I can't even explain to you how excited I am. So I'm gonna go now because I have to catch my flight, but I will talk to you guys later. Hi guys, I am at the airport at like 5 a.m. And I have my little airport breakfast taco. I'm just waiting to get on my flight to go to Chicago to see Hamilton. So it's very exciting. I mean, I am very excited, but it's very boring for you. Bye. Hi, I made it to Chicago. I found my friends. This is Nicole. She's responsible for getting us tickets because she's amazing. This is my brother who's taking pictures.
Are you making an Instagram story?
No, I'm making a vlog.
Oh, okay.
A real vlog. Hi! So it will never be posted on my channel because I never actually post these things. So we are here obviously like hours and hours before the actual show. So we're just going to explore Chicago, probably starting with Millennium Park because it is very close to where the theater is. So that is the plan. And food. Also lots of food. So, bye! I'm just showing you guys the really beautiful flowering trees they have in Millennium Park right now. We're really close to the Cloud Gate, which everyone just calls the Bean. And I'll show you that when we get there, but I really like these trees, and so I wanted to show you those. And I wanted to actually have footage, because usually what happens is I'm like, I'm going to vlog, and I do an intro and an outro, and I don't film anything in between, and that's why you never see vlogs on this channel, because I don't actually film properly. But yes, that's the plan. I'm just gonna swing around so you can see behind me that big shiny thing is the Bean. What? I'm sorry, I'm like extending my reach. And we're gonna go take pictures by it, but I can't do that with this, so yeah. And I was like, let's drink some of that sketchy because it's just continuously running water. But it's actually really legit. Hi, this is the fountain in Millennium Park. I don't know, it probably has a real name, but I don't know what it is. Last time I was here, it was on, and it is not on. And it is a really nice day out. It is sunny and bright, but also like there's wind coming off the lake, and that's really good. And I think just for me, from being a now San Antonian, it needed to be warm enough that I wouldn't freeze. It's actually really warm. Hi! So we came to find the Private Bank Theater in like the sun daylight so we could take all our dorky Hamilton pictures, which I will put in here somewhere. They have like all of these lovely like window decal things that are like the characters, so love to the Schuyler sisters and Burr and Washington? And we did that thing where there's people in there technically, but like we are like standing out taking dorky pictures, and I'm pretty sure it happens like literally all the time. Let's see. So we are at the Chicago Riverwalk, which is a thing that I guess exists. It is not anything like the San Antonio Riverwalk, let me tell you. It closes at night. What is that? But it does actually seem pretty cool. There's actually like a lot of people here kind of in the sun. It's a beautiful day, and you can see behind me like the river, and there's like bridges. Like this is a much more serious river than the San Antonio River, and there are like boats that go by, and it's basically like, it's really nice. Oh, there's like a giant boat that's coming. Can you see it? See it.
I like to say the Milwaukee River is wider than this. So Milwaukee might be a smaller city, but we have a wider river walk.
Hi guys, we are at Navy Pier, and my brother and friend wanted to give us the short divergent tour of Navy Pier.
Hi, we're at Navy Pier. This is home to the scene where Tris and Four climb up this Ferris wheel behind us to see how brave they are. And it turns out that Four is scared of heights. And then by going on it with Tris, he realizes he has one more fear: being scared of losing her. And if we turn around, let's turn around, Caitlin. Back there, you can see the John Hancock building. It's like right over there or something. And that is where Tris and the rest of the Dauntless, they took a little thing they zip lined down off the top. It was very fun and exciting. And she was like, "Oh, I'm glad to be doing this."
And if you guys have read the third book,
For years.
you know that there's another pivotal scene that occurs there that might be related to some of the things we discussed in regards to the Ferris wheel.
Showing bravery over heights. I'm guessing it has something to do with 4.
Yep,
Overcoming
that's what it is.
his fear of heights.
That's what it is. Absolutely.
Definitely.
I'm so good at deciding this.
Yep. Actually, what happens is that in honor of Tris, creates a new zip line, an even better zip line. It's got a loop in it and a double helix.
What?
And it's pretty intense. That's
Why don't
all
they have that here? I would totally go on that right now.
Aspects of the Divergent tour of Chicago we did not show you. We went over and saw the headquarters for Candor. I can put a picture in of that. And then we also passed by the church where they filmed the inside of the choosing ceremony. So, yeah. But it, doesn't look quite the same from the outside, so we didn't stop it.
Well, I don't remember it saying the 17th Church of Christ on the outside in the movie.
Yeah, no, they took an elevator to it in the movie.
Yeah.
So it was on the ground.
Sure.
So I think this ends our Divergent tour of Chicago, but there you guys go.
Well, we can always, you started at O'Hare. Did you even say anything about O'Hare?
What?
I didn't start at O'Hare, I started Midway.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
We were just debating how far away O'Hare really is. It was great fun. Because this is a booktube channel, we have now given you guys the full book tour of Chicago.
There are no other books that are based here. Definitely
None.
not Devil in the White City.
Yeah, actually, if you guys have ever been to Chicago and you wonder more about kind of the Millennium Park area, Devil in the White City is a really good nonfiction book. Half of it is about the Chicago Columbian Exhibition, i.e. the Chicago World's Fair, and the other half talks about America's first serial killer, which is kind of weird. Anyway, it's an odd book, but I liked at least half of it, and people generally tend to like at least half of it, so definitely go ahead and read it. All right, bye guys. We'll see you later. We are outside the Chicago Tribune, and we've been debating whether or not these stones in the wall are actually from where they say they are. Like, I don't feel like Texas would give up like such a large piece of stone from the Alamo to Chicago. And then like above, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a piece that's like allegedly from the Taj Mahal and a piece that's allegedly from Hamlet's castle, which I don't know if there's like a folk castle that's supposed to be Hamlet's, but Hamlet is not a real person.
Well, there
Yeah.
was a Hamlet.
But anyway, this is the Chicago Tribune. We stopped and got some like tea stuff, and I thought I was getting bubble tea, but it actually has like jellies instead of tapioca. But I really just needed caffeine because I've been awake since 4 a.m. Okay, so we pre-ordered like our pizza and waited, and it still took like another 20 minutes. So we literally just were like, hey, can we get a box and also our check with the pizza? And we like scarfed it and then like bolted. And so we had to stop and get my real like non-sunglass glasses. So we came back to do that, and now we're heading to the theater. We have about 20 minutes, 30 minutes before it starts. Hopefully we'll have enough time to buy merch, maybe. But we will definitely have time to get there before it starts. So this is the Hamilton Adventure. I don't expect to be able to actually film anything like at the theater, so this might be my last update until you see me bawling my face off after Act 2. Hi, we are at the theater.
Hi.
We are like up in the balcony, but it's not that bad at all. I don't know if you can see that. But we just want to show you, like, one of my goals was to buy some official merch since I bought some unofficial merch before. Like, I want to support the official merch too. So we got the same thing. But yeah, I mean, I guess, do you want to show it off since I'm holding the camera?
Sure. So we got this lovely lapel pin.
That's going on my backpack immediately.
I will remove it so that you can see the actual pin and not just the bag shining back at you.
True.
Look, it's a beautiful tiny Hamilton logo. And then we also got these nice little buttons that have different scenes from the play.
It's like all the ad scenes, basically.
Right, they're all the ad scenes, but basically we wanted something that was representative of the play and not a $40 t-shirt. Also, I like shiny things. So
I also like shiny
this
things.
is shiny. and
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
And it's a nice way to put something on something I carry every day, which is my backpack, well, every work day, and be like, yo, I saw Hamilton. So that's just our little merch story. So I'm gonna really for real shut off now until the end of the show.
Hi, I'm Caitlin, and this is Book Chats, and I'm just filming a little addendum to my Hamilton vlog that you have just watched. So I was literally putting the footage together today from the vlog that I did when I went to see Hamilton on April 15th, and I realized that I never actually told you guys like what I thought of it and all of my feelings around it, and I thought I would do that now. So, Hamilton, the musical. You guys probably have already heard about this, especially if you watch my channel. You probably know that I've been basically obsessed with it since before I even heard the soundtrack. One of the people that I follow online has been obsessed with it since she first heard about it because she loves Alexander Hamilton and she went to see it off Broadway and on Broadway, and she, like, her love for it was infectious and I was excited for it. I love it. I love the music. Many, many things about it. So about 7 months ago, it was the second release of tickets for the Chicago show. So initially, like, I never expected to go see it in New York, but when they announced they were doing a Chicago show, I was like, maybe Chicago I could do. Chicago seems more achievable. Chicago's a city I have relatives in. It's a city I've been to more often than New York, and I just like it better than New York City. So I always kind of in the back of my mind had thought I might go to the show in Chicago, but when the first round of tickets opened, I was like totally unprepared and didn't get any. And so the day before the second round was being released, my friend posted on Facebook that she was thinking about going and would anyone be interested in going with her. And I said, absolutely, please get me tickets as well. And so I had her get 2 tickets, one for me and I got one for my brother. My younger sister was really upset I didn't get one for her, but I didn't realize that she would be able to go because she's a student. My brother, I just automatically knew that he would have the funds and the availability to go. My friend, I talked to a couple of my friends who I know had seen it or had already bought tickets because I knew that I was going to have to set a budget. And so I talked to them to figure out what budget was reasonable for me to spend, but also to be able to get tickets. And I settled on about $100. So I ended up spending about $100 on each ticket, is how much my tickets cost. My friend is the one who bought them. She used the online system and it took her about half a day to get it to work while she was doing other things and other work, obviously. I have also heard that people have had a lot of success calling on the phone on the day, using their phone on the day that they release, but you pretty much have to buy the tickets the day they release. And when we bought tickets, the earliest available ones were for Saturday, April 15th. Of course, on a weekend. That was my stipulations. It has to be a weekend because I would be traveling. And so the earliest available date was Saturday, April 15th. Those are what we got. Months later, we realized that that was Holy Saturday, or the Saturday before Easter. And so I actually ended up spending the rest of the weekend with some of my relatives in southern Wisconsin, which was really wonderful and a good opportunity. And I got to see my parents who drove down, so I could see them too, and that was really nice. And it's always great to be reminded of how great my extended family is because they are really a blessing to me. Anyway, so all of that being said, Hamilton in itself was amazing. We sat in the upper balcony, but it was totally worth it. You could still see a lot of the staging, you just couldn't see faces, but it's really hard in stage shows to be able to see faces anyway. That's more like of a movie thing. We had only a couple of understudies that day. One of them was Angelica, but our Angelica was amazing. Hercules Mulligan were our 2 understudies, I believe, and they were both great. I thought that probably my favorite performances were King George. I think our King George is better than like the original cast. Jonathan Groff King George, like, he just was so supercilious and it was wonderful and he was so snarky and it was so great to see him in that role, and he was like not as young as Jonathan Groff is, and I think that really suited the role better. And he was, just his facial expressions, and I want him. I want his voice. I want all of his versions of the King George songs because he just added so much character to them, and just, he was fabulous. I also loved Jefferson. If you guys haven't seen the show, you might not know if you're like me and are a ditz and didn't notice that it was sort of the same voice in the soundtrack, or you might have looked it up and figured out that Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson are a double cast role. There are several roles that are double cast in the show, and that is one of them. And he was okay as Lafayette, but not like amazing. But as soon as he came back on stage as Thomas Jefferson, oh man, Jefferson was so snarky, and so just like the details. So like when he comes on stage, the like background cast for most of the show, like they've just been barehanded, and the use of clothing in the show is fascinating. So like the background cast like is generally just in like these like period undergarments, but then they'll put on clothing to be various other roles. They'll put on like overcoats, and like even like with Hamilton, they'll put on different coats on him in different phases of his life when he's in different roles in his kind of professional career. And so it's really cool to watch kind of the way they use details like that you can't get off of just the music. But when Jefferson first appears on stage for the very first time, all of the background characters are wearing white gloves, and it's like everyone around him, oh, like they have to be that level of fancy because this is Jefferson and he's been in France. And it was just delightful. He did the role so well. He put so much energy and like character into this character. Also, many people had told me the staging was amazing, but the only example I'd heard of that was Satisfied and Helpless, where Satisfied is the same staging as Helpless, but like they rewind and then take you back through it and show you like Angelica's point of view. But the first act in general has pretty standard staging. It's not that exciting. But the second act has amazing staging. They have a double turntable, and they use it to such good effect. I think my favorite was possibly in Hurricane, where there's this moment that Alexander Hamilton is standing and singing about the eye of the hurricane, and around him, he's standing still, and around him on the turntable are little people who represent different events in his life, and they're frozen, but they're moving because it's a turntable. It's so hard to explain, but it's wonderful, and I absolutely think that it was totally worth the wait, the 7-month wait after I got my tickets and the wait before then as well. And also the fact that I think it was worth the $100 I spent on the ticket, and I also of course spent another couple $100 on the airplane to get up there, and then I stayed with relatives for one of the nights that I was up there, and I was only up there for 2 nights, and the second night I just stayed in a really cheap Airbnb place, so I didn't spend a ton on lodging, but I just really enjoyed the whole experience. It was wonderful, and it was really great to see it with my friend, who, like, together we are obsessed about Hamilton, and like the whole week leading up, it's interesting because I was so obsessed initially with the soundtrack, and I listened to it like every day, and it's like more than 2 hours, so that's like a commitment. But in the couple months leading up to watching the show, I actually hadn't been listening to it a lot. So I like pulled it back up again. I listened to it a couple times, but I didn't listen to it like every day in prep. My friend kind of did. But we would just like send each other text messages that were like lines from the show to like encourage and excite each other. In general, like the whole experience was really great. I'm really glad that I got to see it. I thought the Chicago cast was amazing. I'm sure the traveling cast will be amazing as well. If you also really love Hamilton, I would say sit down, determine what value it is to you, set your budget, and see if you can get tickets for it within that budget to see near you or in Chicago or in New York. But basically the thing is, I had been watching some of my friends go to see it, and I had like a little bit of jealousy that my friends were getting to see the show, and I was like, Caitlin, like you can fix this. Like nobody is telling you you can't go see it yourself. And so when my friend offered like, hey, who wants to go see this with me, I was like, I do. I want to go see it with you. So I think like if I can convey anything to you guys, like if you really want something and you have the means to go do it, don't wait until someone gives you permission or wait until someone gifts it to you. Just make it happen for yourself. That's my Hamilton story. I hope you enjoyed the vlog of my day in Chicago and that it wasn't totally boring. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.